In a time when the world teetered on the brink of chaos, the ancient city of Antioch rose as a beacon of hope and defiance. Its mighty walls, scarred by centuries of conflict, now braced against the oncoming storm of an enemy determined to snuff out the light of civilization. Antioch had long been a crossroads of culture and faith. Its narrow streets and grand basilicas bore witness to both triumph and tragedy. Yet, as the dark clouds of war gathered on the horizon, the city prepared for a siege that would test the mettle of every soul within its stone embrace. Among the defenders was Sir Roland de Clermont, a knight of humble origins whose heart burned with an inner fire. He and his fellow Crusaders arrived not only to reclaim land, but to protect a legacy built on honor and sacrifice. This is the story of a turning point, a saga of valor, sacrifice, and unyielding faith that forever changed the course of the Crusades. In the early hours before dawn, the camp outside Antioch buzzed with whispered prayers and the clamor of armor being readied. Men and women from distant lands had converged here, each carrying their own dreams and burdens. At the center of this motley host stood Sir Roland, whose steadfast gaze surveyed the horizon as if challenging fate itself. Though his sword was worn and his armor bore the marks of previous battles, his determination shone brighter than any polished steel. Rumors spread among the ranks of an enemy force vast and relentless, a tide of warriors intent on crushing the Crusader hope. As the first light of day crept over the ramparts, scouts confirmed the approaching host. The defenders of Antioch, though outnumbered, believed that their cause was divinely ordained. Every heartbeat, every prayer, was a defiant stand against the darkness. As the enemy drew near, the once quiet encampments transformed into bastions of resolve. Archers climbed the battlements, their fingers trembling as they notched arrows, while the steady thump of marching feet resonated like a drumbeat of impending war. Inside the city, families huddled in prayer, and in the shadowed corners of ancient chapels, the faithful sought solace. Yet outside the city walls, the clang of metal and the shouts of warriors signaled the start of a battle that would be etched into history. When the enemy's siege engines began their thunderous assault, stone and iron collided in a cacophony that shook the very foundations of Antioch. Amid the chaos, Sir Roland led his fellow defenders to a position along the breached ramparts. In the thick of the battle, Sir Roland's eyes locked on a lone enemy soldier, a young man trembling with fear and uncertainty. Lowering his sword, Sir Roland chose compassion over conquest, sparing the young man's life. That single act, though it cost him precious seconds, became a symbol of the humanity that endured even in the depths of despair. As the siege dragged on, exhaustion and despair began to weave their way into the hearts of the defenders. Rations dwindled, and the relentless barrage of enemy attacks left both body and spirit battered. In the long, dark hours of night, while the enemy regrouped and strategized, a quiet determination took hold within the walls of Antioch. Stories of past glories were recalled around meager fires, and whispered legends of heroism filled the cold air. The city's defenders, despite their wounds, found strength in unity and the shared conviction that every sacrifice was a step toward salvation. During one such night, Sir Roland gathered with a small band of trusted knights in a secluded chamber within the old citadel. By the light of a single flickering candle, they mapped out a daring plan, a covert strike deep into the enemy's encampment. Under the shroud of darkness, these brave souls slipped through the city's secret passages. Each step was measured, every sound a potential harbinger of doom. Their path led them beyond the battered walls of Antioch, into a realm where danger lurked in every shadow. Yet driven by an unwavering resolve, Sir Roland and his companions pressed on, their hearts beating in unison with the rhythm of defiance. Reaching the enemy's temporary headquarters in a narrow valley, the small band launched their surprise attack. In the ensuing melee, the clash of steel was accompanied by the cries of fallen warriors. Sir Roland's leadership shone like a beacon in that tumultuous night. His sword swung in precise arcs, cutting through the chaos and inspiring his comrades to fight with renewed vigor. Though the night was stained with blood and sorrow, the strike inflicted deep confusion within the enemy ranks. For that brief moment, the momentum of the siege shifted, bolstering the spirits of those within Antioch. The successful sortie was not without loss. Every fallen warrior, whether friend or foe, was a poignant reminder of the terrible price of war. Yet, even as the enemy retreated into the dark recesses of the valley, hope blossomed within the beleaguered city. The defenders of Antioch, battered yet unbowed, recognized that their courage had ignited a spark capable of fending off the overwhelming tide of despair. With the enemy in disarray, Antioch's defenders redoubled their efforts. The city, though scarred by battle, pulsed with the vibrant determination of those who believed in a brighter future. In the days that followed, makeshift infirmaries buzzed with the tireless work of healers, and whispered prayers filled the spaces once overtaken by the din of combat. Sir Roland, whose compassion on the battlefield had become legendary, continued to lead patrols along the city's outer walls. His presence was a constant reminder that even in the midst of brutality, there was room for mercy. One afternoon, while overseeing the repair of a damaged tower, he encountered a young archer who marveled at the kindness he had witnessed during the heat of battle.
Sir Roland, your mercy has shown us that honor is not measured solely by the sword, but by the compassion that guides it.
Those words resonated deeply within him, reaffirming that their struggle was about preserving not just Antioch's walls, but the very essence of humanity. As intelligence reports hinted at a renewed and desperate attempt by the enemy to break the siege, the commanders of Antioch convened for a final strategy session. With grim determination, Sir Roland and his allies decided to launch a comprehensive counterattack. It was a plan born of necessity, a last stand that would decide the fate of the city. On a crisp morning under a clear sky, the defenders lined the ancient ramparts. Every man and woman, from hardened veterans to wide-eyed recruits, took their position with hearts full of purpose. The enemy, having mustered all its remaining forces, surged toward the city in one final desperate push. The ensuing clash was a whirlwind of steel and shouts, an epic confrontation where every strike carried the weight of countless dreams. In the midst of the chaotic battle, Sir Roland fought with a ferocity that belied his gentle nature. Amid clashing swords and whirling arrows, he found himself face to face with an enemy commander. In that charged moment, as their blades locked in a struggle for supremacy, the memory of every life at stake surged through him. With a powerful thrust and a cry that reverberated across the battlefield, he disarmed his foe. Rather than deliver a final blow, he hesitated, and then offered the man a chance to stand down. A gesture that underscored the timeless truth that honor could prevail over hatred. The ensuing clash was a whirlwind of steel and shouts, an epic confrontation where every strike carried the weight of countless dreams. In the midst of the chaotic battle, Sir Roland fought with a ferocity that belied his gentle nature. Amid clashing swords and whirling arrows, he found himself face to face with an enemy commander. In that charged moment, as their blades locked in a struggle for supremacy, the memory of every life at stake surged through him. With a powerful thrust and a cry that reverberated across the battlefield, he disarmed his foe. Rather than deliver a final blow, he hesitated, and then offered the man a chance to stand down, a gesture that underscored the timeless truth that honor could prevail over hatred. The enemy, stunned by this unexpected act of mercy, faltered. Their formation wavered, and the unified spirit of Antioch's defenders surged forward. In the aftermath of the final confrontation, as the enemy retreated in disarray, the defenders gathered among the rubble and bloodshed. The price of victory was etched in every scar and every tear, yet it was a victory that reaffirmed the indomitable power of hope and unity. Months later, as the wounds of battle slowly healed, the legend of the unyielding defense of Antioch spread far and wide. The city, though forever marked by its trials, emerged as a symbol of resilience and the triumph of the human spirit. Statues were raised in honor of those who had fought, and stories of compassion amid carnage were passed down through generations. Sir Roland de Clermont, now a figure of both myth and man, would often wander the rebuilt streets of his beloved city. With every step, he carried the memories of fallen comrades and the faces of both friend and foe who had shared in the struggle for a better future. His legacy, entwined with that of Antioch's defenders, served as a timeless reminder that even in the darkest hours, courage and compassion can light the way to redemption. Sir Roland de Clermont, now a figure of both myth and man, would often wander the rebuilt streets of his beloved city. With every step, he carried the memories of fallen comrades and the faces of both friend and foe who had shared in the struggle for a better future. His legacy, entwined with that of Antioch's defenders, served as a timeless reminder that even in the darkest hours, courage and compassion can light the way to redemption. Thank you for reading this tale of valor and hope. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel, give this video a like, and leave a comment with your thoughts.